Lazy girl selling. Every time I refer to lazy girl selling on my social, on any of my videos, any of my content, you all go nuts. And that is because you believe that you don't have enough time. You believe that you will make more money if you have more time. You believe that you will be more successful at selling your offer if you have more time. You believe you will be a better mum, a better wife, a better friend, a better daughter. You believe that if you had more time, everything would be easier. And maybe that's true, but I have a harsh reality to remind you of, and that is that there is only 24 hours in the day. We all have the same 24 hours. It's not a surprise that we have those 24 hours. We know that that's what tomorrow is going to include 24 hours for us to decide how we spend them. And that is the critical thing, how we decide we want to spend the time, because we have a choice. We can choose whether we focus on lead gen. We can choose whether we focus on doing discovery calls. We can choose whether or not we create content. And we can choose whether we create 10 videos a day or one. And we can make excuses when we don't hit the numbers that we want. We can make excuses when we know we should have sent 10 voice notes that day and we haven't done it. We can tell ourselves stories that my life's busier than anyone else's. I find it harder than anyone else because I've got 4 kids. I've got a busy household. I run 6 businesses. Whatever the story you tell yourself, I'm here to blow it out the water, okay? Because I want you to stop telling yourself stories and instead take full ownership of the fact that you have 24 hours a day and you can choose how to spend it, okay? So see this episode like a little Rach pep talk, like a little Rach, being honest, arm around the shoulder, telling you how it is, okay? Because if I can help you to spend the 24 hours a day that you have better, I know that you will use that time wisely and use it to make more sales, grow your business, scale your business, do whatever it is that you really want to do with the extra hours that you wish that you had. Okay, so I've got a little document here in front of me on my mobile. If you are watching on YouTube, I'm going to show it to you here. And if you're listening on the podcast, I will link it in the show notes for you. And if you are a YouTube subscriber, hello and welcome. I will put it into the notes below the video on YouTube for you too. Because although I'm going to walk through it, I know that sometimes when I'm sharing how many are there are 11 things on this list. When you know that there's 11 things, actually you might think, do you know what, Rachel, I just want to read it as well. Can I have a look at the document? And that is absolutely cool with me. So I've called it Time-Saving Hacks for Lazy Girls Who Want to Scale, because I am very happy to wear the title of Lazy Girl. I've developed a sales methodology called Lazy Girl Sales. That's because I'm a bit of a queen of sales funnel building. If you have listened to the show for a while or you've been following me on my social for a while, you will know that I love sales funnels. My sales funnels have brought me in over 450K. I celebrate often the fact that I make sales from my sun lounger. I made sales on Christmas Day this year. I've made sales while I'm sat watching my son in the nativity. I have helped my clients to take Fridays off and still make money, to be able to take half term off and still run the business. And that's all because of automated lead gen, automated selling, passive income, all because of sales funnels. Okay. And so when you hear me talk about lazy girl sales, I don't mean I work from my bed. I don't mean that I don't do any work. What I mean is I found the way to work smart. Yeah, I am not lazy in any way, shape, or form. I do work really hard, but I have found a way to work smart. Okay. So if you feel right now that you are overworked and underpaid, if you feel right now that you are working really, really hard for too little return, then keep listening, because I'm going to run through these 11 things for you. These are the things I know are going to take me to my $1 million year, which I'm going to just say I'm manifesting that this year. So if you are short of time, stay tuned because we're diving in, right? So number 1 tip, and these are in no particular order, by the way. So when I say number 1, I don't mean it's because it's the most important. So the first tip is template everything. Okay. So when I say template everything, I mean things like create email templates. So if you know that there's a certain format that works well, send that email, but then store it somewhere and turn it into a template that's very easy to give your team so that they can insert the story, insert the offer, insert the copy that you give them. Okay. That means that you don't always have to be the one to build it, the one to write it. You can template and allow somebody to support you with it. Okay. Template your social media captions. Same rule applies. Any client documents, create templates so that you're not creating from scratch. Template your proposal frameworks. Yeah, if your role requires you to send proposals, you don't want to be building them from scratch. Proposal writing takes ages. You want to use a template. When I was selling a lot to corporates, I was selling training to corporates, I had a very sophisticated template for my proposals. And it meant that the proposal looked really impressive when it landed in their inbox, but actually it didn't take me very long at all. And it also meant that I was able to delegate that to a member of my team. So I would be out, in my car, like out visiting clients or networking, or, I would have been delivering training that day. And I was able to voice note Olivia in my team and say, hey, Liv, just had a request for a proposal. Here's the detail. And I could just voice note her and she could pick up that proposal, drop it into the template, and then send that out to the client. So template everything. Store those templates in a centralized hub so that you've got quick access, quick, easy updates can be made. Now, I would say if you're going to have some kind of like central repository, some kind of like central hub, you want to make sure that your naming convention is good. You know that you and your team know where to find things. There's nothing worse than having a filing system, a folder system in your Google Drive, for example, and you can't find anything. So tip number 1, template everything. Tip number 2 is create a batching system. So group similar tasks together. That could be things like content creation, client calls, admin. So I want you to batch your time into dedicated time blocks. And an example of that would be record all of your social media content on a Monday. Handle all of your client calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, so have a look at your calendar. Feel into the days that feel good energetically and the days that don't. And think about what kind of structure you would like with your calendar so that if you batch things together, you'd make it easy for people to, book time in your diary, but you also make it easy and streamlined for you to manage your calendar. Excuse me, I've still got a little bit of poorliness hanging around from Christmas. Excuse me. Right, so number 3, auto scheduling. So that would be a system like Calendly. I've used Calendly for years. And what that allows you to do is, yes, it allows people to book discovery calls with you. But what I really love about Calendly, even more than that, is it allows you to have automated onboarding. So when I'm enrolling into group programs, into my mastermind, into my sales accelerator, the collective, I can send a welcome email with a link, with a Calendly link, and say, welcome, you have qualified for a onboarding one-to-one personal strategy session with me. Click the link, book your slot. So it means that our onboarding is really easy, really automated. And that's because when I started my business, I've always had this as a methodology. And I think it comes from corporate because I used to manage such a big team, used to manage £100 million, 13,500 customers. So I'm very used to working at scale. I'm used to working with, size, things that are big teams, big lists of customers, big revenue streams, big P&Ls, big everything. And so when you're working at scale like that, you need everything to work and not fall over if there was suddenly 100 people come and join. So the way that I have built my onboarding for my mastermind, for my sales accelerator, is if 100 of you came and joined my mastermind right now, we could handle it. Yeah, we could, the system would handle it, the process would handle it, we'd be able to facilitate that. Okay. And it's because of auto scheduling that really does work. So use Calendly or a similar, tool. Include things like buffer times. So don't have all your meetings button up against each other. Have like a 15-minute buffer in between. You can set specific windows for your availability. And it just means that you're not then having to do that back and forth of, could you do Thursday at 3? No, I could do Friday at 10, and all of that, like email tennis. You don't really want to be doing that. So get yourself an auto scheduling platform. Tip number 4 to save you time, girls, and help you scale is content repurposing. Okay. So what that means is create one core piece of content. And I would recommend that is something like a 20-minute video, 20-minute could be a podcast, 20-minute like recording, and use that as your starting point. And then from there, you repurpose using AI. Yeah. So there's a lot of AI clipping editors out there, like Opus Clips is one that I hear really good things about. So use an editor where you can easily create little clips. So for example, from your 20-minute video, if you've recorded a really juicy, value-packed video, you could end up with like 3 or 4 really good reels from that video. Okay. And that could be your content for a week. So get yourself into repurposing. If that means investing in an app, do it. If it means hiring a VA to support you, do it. Because every minute that you are sat there trying to edit and re-record shorter videos is time that you could be spending on something else. Okay. So get yourself either a VA to support the repurposing or a platform or both, and get into repurposing. Could be a blog that you chop up into different things. It could be that 20-minute video that you transcribe it and you use the transcription as a blog. You use the long video as a YouTube video. Maybe you send the long video out to your email list. And from that 20-minute video, you create 4 reels that you put on TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, that is one example of a repurposing strategy that saves you so much time, and all you need is a few hours of a VA's support and potentially, $20, $30 a month in terms of investment in an AI clipping tool. Okay, so have a think about content repurposing to give you some hours back in your week. Tip number 5 is create a process library. So many of you don't have a process library. So many of you are doing things from scratch every time you do them, instead of recording and documenting your processes. So what I mean by that is, if something needs doing regularly in your business, and maybe it's something that you do at the moment, but you would like to delegate that to somebody else, what you would want to do is record like a little Loom video or a little Zoom video of you doing that task and, talking the person through it. Or it might be a step-by-step documented process of, the first thing we do is we go here, then we do this, then we go here, then this person contributes, then it gets put into this tool, then we file it in this folder. So what are the step-by-step actions that need to be taken for a certain process to happen in your business? A perfect example of this is this podcast. Okay, it may be no surprise to you, but I am not the editor of this podcast. That is not my skill set. So I have somebody who helps me to edit out, hopefully a lot of the coughs and sneezes will get edited out. Sorry if you ever hear those, but she will edit out any pauses, any silly things that I say. Luckily, I'm a pretty free flow speaker, so I don't think there's too much to edit out, but she does the editing. She adds the music. She will help me pull together the show notes. She will schedule the whole thing to go out. And that is a process. We release an episode a week. And so this is a weekly process in my business. If that wasn't documented somewhere, then actually, if for any reason whatsoever, my editor couldn't do it anymore and I had to get somebody else to do it, we would know exactly what to do. Okay, so try, if you can, to get some of your processes documented. And it may be that you want to just aim to get 5 processes a month documented, or even 2. Like, don't boil the ocean, but definitely make a commitment that you are going to draft together a set of processes, a set of step-by-step instructions, so that all the processes that need to happen can happen. So it might be that you need to gather together some screenshots, maybe some little videos, some checklists. One of my mantras, and I think you're going to like this, is solve problems twice. Okay. Where you have a problem arise in your business, solve it twice. Once for the time that it's arisen around. So let's say it's a client issue or a tech issue. Solve it for that client. Solve it for that immediate piece of tech, but also solve it so that it never happens again. So what that means is solve it so that the problem goes away now, but solve it so that it never raises its ugly head again. Because if you're going to the trouble of solving it the first time, why would you want to have to go through the pain and heartache of solving it for a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth time? So drafting out the process helps you to never have to deal with the same problem ever again. Okay? That is tip number 5. Tip number 6 is having a client portal. So a lot of you I know will already have this, where you've created like a dedicated space for your client assets. So it could be any like learning resources. It could be any questions that they want to ask in between calls. It could be sharing feedback, them sharing success with you. It makes their life simpler and it makes your life simpler. Okay. Now there's a number of different ways that you can do this. If it's more about communication, you might want to use a platform like Slack, which is what we use. You might also want to use a platform like Telegram, WhatsApp for Business, all of the different messaging platforms, you'd be able to do that. If it's more about sharing resources, then you might want to use a course platform. And if you are more of a Google Drive girly, then you might just want to set up a folder between you and your client so that you can both drag in like different resources and questions and videos and all sorts of things, okay? But by not having a client portal and not having a structure around how you do that, you potentially make life really hard, and your clients won't feel that they're getting good service, and you will feel unprepared, a little bit, crazy sometimes, trying to lay your hands on certain things, maybe missing deadlines, and you just won't feel good. So tip number 6 is make sure that you have a robust system around service delivery and client delivery, okay? Tip number 7 is all about your boundaries. So making sure that you have got some form of like automation around your boundaries. So one example of this is my mobile phone. It does a few things actually in the evening. It goes from blue light to red light so that I'm not like high alert and being kept from my sleep. This girl needs her beauty sleep, let me tell you. So it changes the light source. The other thing it does is it goes on to like do not disturb, and it goes into night mode, and it is on night mode until 7 a.m. the next day. Okay. I think it happens at 9 p.m. and until 7 a.m. And I've got that set up in my mobile. Now, what that means is my phone isn't out of action. It's just that I have to be very intentional whether I actually want to go and look for notifications, because if I didn't go and look for them, I wouldn't be alerted by my phone that there was anything to look at. Okay, so that's an example of how I'm trying to manage my boundaries using the technology that I have got to help me. Okay, other things you might want to think about would be setting the scene with your clients at the point of sale so that they know what is and isn't acceptable when it comes to communicating with you. So are you somebody that wants to say, I don't work on weekends, please don't message me at weekends? Or is it that you want to say, I don't message in the evenings? Yeah. So do you need to set boundaries around when clients can ask you questions? Do you want to set boundaries around, when somebody was to like miss a call, for example? If somebody cancels a call, within like 12 hours of the call or 24 hours of the call or 48 hours of the call, how will you handle that? Will you say, I'm sorry, if you cancel it this near to the call, you don't get to rebook it, you miss the call, you forfeit the call? Like, what are your boundaries around that? And there's no right or wrong to this, because it's your business. And like I always say, your business, your rules. Yeah. Your business, your rules, which means you get to set the rules. You get to say what your boundaries are. Okay. It is too late, though, to tell people those boundaries once the issue has already happened. You need to say it up front. Okay. So if you want to scale and you want to be able to handle more clients more easily, then managing your boundaries is an absolute must. Absolute must. Because I can promise you this, right? The bigger your business gets, the more people will want access to you. Yeah, it's more people in your WhatsApp. It's more people saying, can I just pick your brains? More people that say, can I just get a minute of your time? Yeah. And if it was just one person saying, can I get a minute of your time? Then that would only take you a minute. But when you've got 40 people saying, can I get a minute of your time? And 1 minute turns into 5, suddenly you can see where time disappears. Yeah. So having boundaries is critical, absolutely critical. And I'll be honest, right? It's something that I am working on all the time, because I was always kind of a free and easy, yeah, it's okay, just message me. And then as my business started to grow, as my client base started to extend and expand, I realized more and more that I need to get better at my boundaries. So yeah, it's something that is always up for review. Tip number 8 is project management. So, do you have some form of project management system that allows you to manage projects and juggle tasks and delegate those tasks between team members if you've got a team? I love Asana. Yeah, my mastermind ladies were asking me, it was, probably 2 months ago now, Rach, we really want to see how you use Asana. So I shared my screen and I walked them through my own Asana boards. So, like, in my mastermind, I love to give the ladies like proper behind the scenes access to my business, because they've come to join the mastermind so that they can scale to 100, 200K, 300K a year. And sometimes you just want your mentor to say, this is how I do it. You don't want somebody to say, well, how would you like to do it? Yeah, you don't want to be coached there. You want to be mentored there. And so I know my ladies loved it. When I showed them my Asana boards, I took some screenshots. I've given them screenshots of it so that they can build out their own project boards as well. So we've got boards for launching, boards for funnel building, boards for creating courses. I've also got a board that is in action all the time, which is called operations. And that's where, like, me and my team are, when we're on calls together, planning calls, we log in and we look at our ops board so that we can see, what are we working on? What's the deadline for each thing? Who's got that? Have you got that, or have I got that? Or is it with somebody else? Okay, so if project management is feeling like something that you want to work on, I do recommend looking at Asana. Other products you could use would be like Trello. I've got quite a few clients on Monday.com. There's a few systems out there. Particularly, though, I love Asana just because it's so bloody easy to use. Tip number 9 is meeting efficiency. So any of you ladies that have been in corporate, you probably think this way anyway, because I know when I was in corporate, it was drummed into me. Don't have a meeting for the sake of it. Don't make it an hour if it can be half an hour. So if you're going to have a meeting, make sure that you are super intentional about what is that meeting even for? What's the objective? What do you want to get out of the meeting? What do they want to get out of the meeting? Do you need to share the agenda before the meeting? Do you share summary notes? Like, be really, really, really intentional around your meetings and be strict. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm saying this to you, but I'm laughing in my brain, because I know that, like, me and Laura and my team, we're often going over on our meeting time because we just love each other and we love chatting. But that's by the by. Yeah, like, don't think that because I do it, it's a good thing to do. Yeah, like, make sure that you have got boundaries and you are being very efficient with your time. So what else can I tell you about meeting efficiency? I mean, again, the point three, was it? Yeah, point three was using the scheduler. What I would do is if your team need to speak to you, then you might want to book, you might allow them to book 15-minute slots in your diary. That's one way that you can be really intentional. It means that you're being open and available to support them, but it also means that every time you book a meeting, it's not an hour. Yeah. If they just want to run a couple of things by you, 15 minutes is good enough, or a voice note in Slack is good enough. Yeah. So be really, really efficient around your meetings and you will save time. The last two tips. Tip number 10 is have a tech stack audit. This will save you time and money, to be honest. It may be that you're using more tech apps, more support apps, more systems than you really need to use. I know that, you might have bought into a particular system, like take my Asana, for example. I've been using that for probably like 4 years now. And I am certain that over that 4 years, Asana have improved their platform. And what a lot of these platforms are doing is adding extra services on. So it might be that if you did an audit of your tech stack, that you would find that you're actually paying for two systems where one of them could actually cover the functionality of the other. And you won't know that if you don't do a little audit of your tech stack. Okay, so regularly review what are you paying a monthly subscription for? What's the purpose of it? And can that purpose be fulfilled by another app? Okay, this really will save you time. And of course, it will save you money, and it may save you manually having to transfer information from one system to another, or rekeying the same information from one system to another. Okay, so do a little tech stack audit is my 10th tip for you. And my 11th tip, if you want to save time and if you want to scale your business without feeling like you've got to be permanently attached to social media, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say build a bloody funnel because that's what I always say. Because it drives me nuts, the amount of girls I hear who say, oh, Rach, social media is just driving me crazy. It's hit and miss. I don't know if I'm going to sign a client from one day to the next. Carousels take me ages. Reels are hard. I just need some help. I just don't know how else I'm going to create stability in my business. So yeah, my 11th tip for you is build a sales funnel. It could be that you use a PDF lead magnet. So yeah, tip number 11 for you is build a sales funnel. It could be a sales funnel that uses a lead magnet that's like a PDF, like an ebook or a checklist, or it could be a sales funnel that uses a training, like a masterclass, a webinar, a workshop. I mean, that's kind of all the same. I use those words interchangeably. It could even be a funnel with a multi-day training, like a challenge that you've run, a boot camp that you've run, and you turn that online 5-day boot camp into a self-study course and use that as a lead magnet. But by not having a sales funnel, honestly, you are missing out on so much potential, because there are stalkers in your audience. There are people that see your content and they come and check out the link in your bio. They will look at your highlight reels. They will watch your stories. They may even look at you on more than one platform if you've been repurposing and posted it across multi-platforms, but they're not ready to work with you yet. Yeah, they're not actually ready to buy something. They're not ready to make that investment. But what they are ready for is to just stalk you and have a little dip of the toe in the water, so to speak. Yeah. And what that means is downloading your lead magnet. If you've got a checklist in your bio, there's every reason to believe that that person that's just seen your content and is having a little stalky stalk will go and download that so that they can see what your work is like. Or if somebody has seen you go live and they love your energy and they're like, oh, I want to see more of her training. I love the way that she trains. Then having a free training in your link in bio is going to help you to collect email addresses, help you to build your email list, but also help you to nurture that person and invite them to your offer, okay? So by you not having a sales funnel, you're missing out on a massive opportunity to attract new leads, to nurture those leads, and to get them to the point where they are ready to invest with you. So wherever you are on your funnel journey, I want to be the biggest support to you that I can, right? And so I've got a couple of tools and resources that I'm going to gift you. The first one is a step-by-step guide. And this is ideal for you if you don't have a funnel and you don't even know where to start with one. And you're like, oh, Rach, I'm hearing that you're like making sales on your sun lounger, but how on earth would I even start with that? I don't even know what I need to do. Or what I hear a lot is, I know all the things I need to do, but I don't know what order to do them in. I get overwhelmed with whether I need to build the opt-in page first or the lead magnet first. Like, which is the best way around to do it? And so this step-by-step guide walks you through step by step, not just what to do, but the order that you need to do it in. So that's the first gift I want to give you. And I'm going to put these below this podcast. I'm going to put them on YouTube. I'll put them in the notes below, and on the podcast, I'll put it in the show notes for you. So if you want to get that step-by-step guide, check out below this episode. And then the other thing I want to gift you is, if you know a little bit about lead magnets already, and maybe you've even got a funnel, and maybe you've had a funnel for months, but it doesn't convert. Yeah, if you have already got a training or a PDF and you're like, why is it not converting? I've got people downloading it, like I've got people opening up the email sequence, but it's not converting. Then the gift I've got for you is a training, and I think it's about 38 minutes long. And in that training, I give you the 3 funnel designs that have helped me to sign 450K's worth of revenue using sales funnels. Okay. Those 3 funnel designs are everything that you need to know. You don't need anything more complex. Those 3 funnel designs will get you, if you want to create 10, 20K months of passive income, great. If you want to attract leads for your scalable group coaching program, great. You want to sell high ticket and you want to use your funnel to book discovery calls, it will do that. Okay. Those 3 funnel designs are everything that you need to make progress with your funnel. Okay. From whatever point you're starting from. And of course, both of these gifts are free. And so depending on where you are with your funnel, you might want to just go grab the step-by-step guide so that you've got a track to run on, like a bit of a process. And then when you're ready for the training, you're ready to actually like build the funnel, go grab the training so that you've got the designs, the actual funnel templates of what to put in what order so that you get the best conversion rate. Okay, so those are my gifts for you, because tip number 11 is absolutely the way that I have scaled my business to multi-6 figures. I love funnels. I could build a new funnel every week. I won't, because that would be a little bit too much, but I could. I love it. I love the geekiness around like tracking the data. I just think it's a great way to run our business. And launching, let's face it, gets a bad rap, doesn't it? Like launching, high energy, uncertain results. One minute you get 100K launch, next minute it's 10K, and it's actually the same launch. So, funnels for me are the ultimate lazy girl sales strategy. So grab those freebies I'm going to drop below the show, and I will see you on the next episode. Good luck with saving your time.